Ask you about that. So Derrick Rose, obviously the point guard, the youngest MVP in league history. Obviously their head coach is a classic point guard himself. What do you think Jason Kidd and the Bucks see in this guy? I wasn't terribly impressed in his 1 year in New York here.
Well, right now, because the market has really deflated for the point guard, they could potentially get him at a pretty good number in 1 year. Teams like the Clippers have interest, would like to talk to Derrick Rose, but he sees a chance to play for Jason Kidd, to play with the Greek Freak in Milwaukee. Oh, yeah. The problem for the Bucks is they've got three different contracts they're trying to move to get off. They're going to have to attach a first-round pick to those deals to create space. How much of a price do they want to pay going forward? Setting a potential pick to a Phoenix, a Brooklyn, teams who have cap space, they want a good first-round pick. Is that worth it to sign Jason Kidd or to sign Derrick Rose? Right. That's the question Jason Kidd and the Bucks are asking themselves tonight.
And think about what Adrian just said. I mean, you got a guy like the Greek Freak, who won the Most Improved Player. You got the Rookie of the Year in Malcolm Brogdon, a little veteran savvy with a coach that's been to the NBA Finals. It could be something. This guy last year was teammates, of course, with Carmelo Anthony, and he obviously is still out there as a huge potential issue. The no-trade clause, as Phil found, is a little easier to maneuver when you've got it. What's the latest on him?
Well, as we reported last night, Cleveland continues to be a team that he's willing to waive his no-trade for, but Melo has added Houston to that list. And part of the reason is because Chris Paul went from L.A., where Melo had interest, to the Rockets. Right now, though, there's a roadblock there in terms of the Rockets being able to find the right pieces to satisfy New York in a trade. They've looked at third teams, fourth teams. It's a difficult pathway to get a deal done, but if the Rockets are able to, or there's a buyout in New York where he becomes a free agent, Cleveland and Houston are at the top of Melo's list.
Could be a very substantial buyout. One other thing I want to ask you, and I think a lot of Rockets fans are thinking about the Melo-D'Antoni dynamic. He said it's going to have to be a situation where Melo acquiesces when we asked Adrian about it. But considering you've got every GM in that phone right there, I want to know about Daryl Morey. A couple of weeks ago, when David Griffin was on the outs, that was a big story. That same day, or around those same days, he signed a 4-year contract extension. Nobody paid attention to it because of the Griffin situation. What has allowed this guy to swing the way that he has? He got Dwight. He got Harden. He got Chris Paul. He might get Melo. What is the deal with this guy?
Houston has done a great job of being creative with their payroll, creating flexibility with the contracts they have that they can always move out of whoever they have. The deal they did for Chris Paul to get a bunch of non-guaranteed contracts, to put those all in, to do a sign and trade, or to essentially do a trade with the Clippers before free agency started. It got them their second star with James Harden, and now they're out. Their window is now, and you have to give Leslie Alexander, their owner, credit. He's willing to pay luxury tax. He's willing to go get Carmelo Anthony with $54 million left on his deal. They're going after Golden State in a summer where you're seeing a lot of teams retreating, sort of trying to run the clock out on that Golden State team. They're absolutely a team in Houston that's going for it.
That's why he called it a weapons race. I think he meant an arms race, but I think we know what he meant, and we think we know what Woj means. They're going for it big time, and the best is yet to come, perhaps, for the Rockets. They've met the Warriors in the Western